All right, questions for Coach?
Hey, Ime, did you get the sense with the way this game was going that if even one of your guys got marginally hot, that would be what you needed?
Yeah, we weren't playing our best in the first half in a lot of ways. Sometimes that's all it takes, one guy to get back to his average game. But across the board, just too many turnovers, too many offensive rebounds, second chance points, things that we've emphasized. And with that being said, they had 47 points at the half. We felt we were in good shape if we just cleaned up turnovers, limit them. They had 22 more shots and all that. So small things like that, it helps obviously to get some of our guys going offensively. But what was important is that we cut down the turnovers, cut them in half, only 5 in the second half, and only 8 second chance points. And that's where you get the result, 38-point half, holding them to 80 points.
Ime, after I think Jaylen's second or third turnover, you pulled him. Seemed like there was a conversation there. What did you tell him? Did you tell him to calm down? And what happened when he flipped the script in the second half?
It's the same thing. The crowd is there. You're acting like you're surprised that they're reaching and poking it from behind, and it wasn't as much like live ball turnovers, us trying to make a nice pass. It was literally getting taken from us. And so be strong with the ball. It's 5 games in now. We're having way too many of these type of turnovers, not being strong with the ball in the crowd. He understood that. And to your point, I think we talked about at halftime, them having 47 points and us giving up 34 of those with extra second chance points and turnovers. So knew if we cleaned that up, we'd be in good shape. And obviously he and the rest of the group did a great job.
Ime, overall, just in your mind, how impressive was that second half, what you guys were able to do really defensively and taking it to them? And also just the feeling of being up 3-2 now, heading back to Boston in the Garden crowd for a game 6.
Yeah, it was big. To be that close and know we didn't play our best in the first half. We just talked about flipping the script and playing like a really good second half, a really clean second half. And so we did that. Guys, obviously JT, JB got it going. Both those guys almost triple-double and 25 points for JB. But it was simply, like I said, taking care of the basketball, the emphasis of this whole series, and limit them to one shot. And so we're guarding extremely well. It's impressive to hold a team to 80, not playing your best offensive game. But as I always say, we rely on the defensive end. Know our offense will pick up eventually. And when we get those stops to get out and run, we're kind of a lethal team on both ends. But to your point, I'm sorry. Great to be up 3-2. Obviously going back home, you don't want to be down to elimination game, and to have it on our home court is an advantage, but they beat us there already. So we have to come out with the same urgency after these last 2 wins, trying to put it away.
You guys gave up home court advantage back in Boston. There was not a lot of concern. There were some teams might get worried. You got 3 left and 2 on the road. You have a really sloppy first half here. Things are going poorly. What is it about you guys, especially as time has passed, that these things aren't rattling you and you guys are able to stay so steady when you need to?
Yeah, I would say our defense, we stayed steady there. We kept our composure tonight as opposed to some other games where we weren't playing our best game and kind of, fell off a cliff in those 2 quarters. And tonight we kept our composure. We still relied on our defense, stayed solid there, and knew if we got our offensive game going, literally taking care of the ball and getting shots up, we'd be in good shape. And so to hold them to that number in the first half when we weren't playing our best offensively, it's like we always say, we rely on our defense. That travels well with us. We knew we were guarding at a high enough level that if we just turned the corner offensively, we'd be in good shape. And so that was what the message was. We're not playing our best, close game, and if we just have a decent to above average half, we'll be in good shape.
Marcus Smart picked up his 4th foul early in the 3rd quarter. Looked like he was waving you guys off to try to stay in the game. What's the communication like there? And in that moment, how much was the importance of that 3rd quarter stretch a factor in your decision to keep him on the court?
Yeah, it's both. It's trusting Marcus that he knows how to play with those 4 fouls. Partially is Derek is right there in case, so you got a really good, obviously, insurance policy. But at the same time, we were playing really well that 3rd quarter and didn't want to break the momentum with that group. And so you trust your guys. He understands the situation, fouls and not getting his 5th. And so that communication's open. Tell him to be smart. Then we get him out later in the quarter when we can. And like I said, the 3rd quarter was really going well for us on both ends and didn't want to break that momentum.
Was Rob dealing with something at the beginning of the third?
He just got an extra stretch at halftime. Kind of uncommon, but when he was going to come out, he just wanted the extra stretch and give him a little more time, and went with Grant to start the third. But nothing specific, just a little body overall tightness, cramping, I guess, or whatever maybe.
How did Marcus look to you?
Solid. I mean, he knows how to play through it, and with the injury, you could tell he was not as explosive or quick, but what he does on the defensive end and just in general being a leader out there carries over well for us, regardless of the stat sheet. He gets us into our sets, and then it was obviously nice to have Derek, take the majority of the load with Marcus not being 100%. But credit to him for playing, just as Rob has, and we know the importance of whether it's 15, 20 minutes, what we get from those guys is invaluable.
JT was grabbing at his shoulder a ton in the first half, and just, JV was out of his rhythm. Your top players just weren't really finding their shots. And as the game went on, their top guys seemed to kind of wear down, and that's when your best guys really stepped up. So just how is your team designed well to be able to just outlast your opponent and strike late?
I think the mental stress and strain we put on some teams with our defense has worked and carried us through the playoffs at times. You saw in the Brooklyn series, guys started to wear down. Game 7 looked like Antetokounmpo slowed down some, but just having all those bodies to continue to throw at people, wears down on them physically and mentally, making it tough as long as we don't give them easy baskets in transition. And then with our guys, we're always confident that they'll get it going and figure it out eventually. To your point, we didn't play our best first half with those two, and it takes 1 or 2 shots to go down for them to get going. And so our thing was take care of the ball, make them score in the half court, get stops and get out and run. And I think we did that in the second half, but always staying confident in those guys, knowing they can get it going at the drop of a dime.
Kind of to that end, what was the difference in your mind from first half Jaylen to what we saw in the second half?
He didn't turn it over.
Before game 4, Derek talked about wanting to be more aggressive, and he was going to make a point of being more aggressive. How has that aggressiveness really played out in terms of benefiting you guys over these past couple of games?
You said Derek?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously starting last game with Marcus out put him in a position to, make more plays. He's going to have a weaker defender on him with, JB and JT kind of being blanketed, and he can take advantage of those. Capable scorer, driver, initiator, and one of our best guys at, quick decisions, getting downhill and making plays. And so we trusted him to do that. Took advantage of some double teams on Jason, and he's really good at making the play behind. And so we trust him to get the ball in the middle, whether he has a floater, pull up, or finding guys on the perimeter. So I think last game kind of sparked it with the extra opportunity of Marcus being out, and now it's great to have him back in that role, coming out with the same aggression off the bench.
And this step, getting to the conference finals, getting on the verge of the finals, is a step that this franchise got to a bunch the past several years. You've obviously been in the finals, you've won a title. What's sort of the message over the next couple of days with the series going back home to, have the opportunity to close this out?
And nothing changes. We had to come out with the right mentality after a win, and we did that. We wanted to do the same and close it out at home and know the urgency of not coming back here. And so for our guys, it's just one more step and continue to grind it out. And, like I said, we wear teams out defensively and make it extra hard on them mentally and physically. And if we do that, we put ourselves in good shape and just not give up those 39-point quarters or the turnovers that give teams hope in life. And so we know what we're all about. And for us, I don't think anybody's looking at getting to the finals. We still know what the deal is and what the task at hand is.
We were talking about throwing different bodies at their top guys. You went to Horford and Grant up on Butler, and then Rob on Bam, and those pick rolls, dropping as deep as you can. What made you want to do that? And what part of the court did you want to shrink it down to and make them play?
Stay locked up to the shooters and make the other score. There's some of the guys that initiate offense for them, whether it's Bam or Butler as well, and then helping off Tucker some. And so really with that, Butler wasn't really looking to score. He was more of a screener and making plays in the pocket. And so he was slipping behind some of our switches. And so we wanted to keep a big on him and play him like a big and play in a more traditional drop coverage. And so he hurt us in the first half. We switched it up in the second half to limit his effectiveness as a screener.
So sorry to go back to Jaylen, but could you be a little more expansive beyond just the turnovers, cutting those down? But obviously, he was making baskets for you guys on the offensive end as well. Had the big dunk. Just kind of what clicked in for him there in that second half?
We got some really good looks. Even in early in the second half, we missed some. I think once Jason got going, they started to become more aggressive, and he got off the ball. And when anytime Jalen's on the second side, he's lethal, whether it's the catch and shoot or pull it. And then we found him coming out timeouts for some quick drives that got him going. But his aggression was great. He made decisive decisions, quick, and didn't play in the crowd. And so he took care of the ball, got shots up, and whether he is in it, takes a tough pull up. Some guys are tough shot makers, and he's one of them. And we'd rather have him do that 100% of the time than turn the ball over. And so we just told him to get shots up. You see the crowd get off the ball, but be aggressive. We need it, and he did it. Thank you.